Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm very glad that you decided to stop by because today we are going to harvest the rest of the onions as well as the garlic, and we're finally going to harvest the potatoes in the Greenstalk. So let's get started. Real quick, I do want to mention something. So the onions have gotten so massively big that I'm actually going to measure the circumference around these onions because they're the biggest I've ever grown, especially in the Greenstalks, which is blowing my mind at how big they are. You're going to see that in just a little bit, but I just wanted to show you that I do plan to measure them because they are that big. So big, in fact, that the reservoir that sits on top of the Greenstalk has been popped up because there's no more room for the onion to grow. So I cannot wait to share with you all. All right, friends, well, here's a quick overview of all the Greenstalk. So we're going to harvest from 4 of them that you see right here, the 2 onions right here, and the last 2 garlics over there. And then the last thing I'm going to do are the potatoes. Now, depending on the lighting, because I am kind of losing lighting, it was storming and raining today, so I'm fighting against rain, storms, and lighting. But I plan to harvest these, and if it for whatever reason gets dark out, I will harvest them really quickly and then I will show you the full harvest at the very end. But we are going to start right here. I'm going to talk about everything that's going on because I do have some major bug infestation, which I think is definitely worth talking about. So we're going to go from here and we're going to work our way down. By the way, before we actually start the tour and harvest, I wanted to share these with you real quick. So these are the tubes that are at the very bottom of the Greenstalks where the water can just flow right out and you can direct the water to wherever it is you want to direct it to. And I know I've shared before how dirty they were, and I finally got around to cleaning, and I wanted to quickly share with you what they look like and how I did it. So I know there's still kind of some staining and residue, but for the most part, you guys, these were super, super dirty. And so what I did was I filled this bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, with water and soap. I let it sit for 48 hours. I filled it up again with some soap, and I did it. I left it for probably a couple hours. And then I had this for a long time, and I actually don't even remember where I got it from, but you probably can find one at Walmart or somewhere. And this is what I had my daughter just go in there and clean it out as best as she could, and I'm really happy with the result because for the most part, you guys, if you remember, these were filthy. I mean, like so dark you couldn't even see through it. So doing this helped a lot, so I'll be doing this again, but I just wanted to share with you what I did and how they turned out in case you want to do the same thing. All right, friends, so we are going to start with the mint on top. So I have a lot of mint on top. That's the lemon mint. It actually started flowering, which is a great garnish for salad or whatever. So we're going to harvest some of those. But I want to briefly talk about the strawberries and the Japanese beetles. So you guys, this year, the Japanese beetles have been so bad. In fact, my Kentucky Wonders back there, which I will be doing a garden tour next to show you, all they do, you can see, they just eat the leaves to the point where it almost just looks like a lacy kind of, I don't even know how to, like a skeleton of a leaf. They are so bad this year. Now, good thing about Japanese beetles, they're not around all summer. But when they do damage, they do damage. And I actually have been gone for a week. So here's another thing. I have been gone for a week. And so what you're seeing has been me not even touching anything for a whole week. And you can see that there's been quite a bit of damage just on my strawberry leaves. For the most part, they're still good. I'm not super concerned. It's just very annoying. And I have to come out here and constantly knock them off. By the way, I know every time I say the ground is really dirty, but we do plan to power wash in the next couple of weeks. So it will be clean because this is driving me bonkers. But let me show you what a Japanese beetle looks like because they are just a pain. You see, okay, you see, and they're in 2s right here. Let me see if I can flip this around. Hold on. Okay, do you see them? They're very iridescently, like full of like iridescent metallic kind of colors, and a lot of them have been mating this year more than I've ever seen before, and they're just on everything. And I just swat them off. Sometimes I'll kill them just so that there's obviously less of them, but you guys, they do some serious damage if you don't, you know, keep an eye on them and come outside and just, you know, obviously take them off. Other than that, the strawberries for the most part, they're not really in season right now. I do see a few trying to grow, so we may get a couple here and there, but so far they're all doing really good. Now I'm going to harvest this beautiful peppermint. It's been one of my many favorite peppermints. And what I do, if you are new to this channel, I freeze dry my peppermints, my mints, all sorts of mints, my lemon balm, and then I infuse it into my water and then add some lemon. It is absolutely not only delicious, but it's so refreshing. So I'm going to go and I'm going to harvest some right now. This next mint is my lemon mint. This is the first time I've ever grown lemon mint. I started this from seed back in the fall time, and I actually did not know, or I probably forgot more than likely, that it flowers like this on top. But these are really good for pollinators and, like I said, garnishing or adding these to salads or any meals. But I'm going to harvest a few on top just because I want it to continue to get bushier and grow more. So I'm going to harvest this as well. Now what I want to do is harvest my Mojito Mint, which is my favorite mint, out of my perennial tower. I've been really happy with designating one of my green stalks for my perennials, which I'll share with you in just a minute, but I wanted to quickly show you what I use, or one of the things that I use, other than just coming out here and checking my garden and swatting the Japanese beetles off. But I have found that this, and I'm not sponsored by them, I just have used this in my garden. It's an organic spray BT that helps kind of, when you spray the Japanese beetles, it kind of makes them a little bit, I don't know, sleepy or kind of docile, where you can just easily pick them off, because if you don't, they like to fly all over the place and sometimes in your face, and that's no fun. So I found that this spray has helped tremendously, and so I wanted to share it with you just in case you are having a really bad Japanese beetle problem, because I know this year I think they are the worst I've ever had. So between going out in my garden and just flicking them off and then using this spray has been very helpful, so I wanted to share it with you all. All right, let's harvest some mint, guys. Okay, so I do want to ask, out of your green stalks, because we are like fully in summertime, and I have to be careful here because I've already touched the stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is growing past the yarrow, and it already got me, I mean. But I wanted to ask, since we are in like full swing summertime, what has been your favorite thing to grow in the green stalk? I'd like to know one thing that's been very successful and one thing that has not been working, because I know for me, let's make sure I'm in focus now. I know for me, not everything in my garden works, and that's okay. Because anything that doesn't work, I either figure out how can I make it better, or this was just a bad idea, let's scratch it and do something new. So I would love to hear from you guys. What's one thing that's been such a great success, and then one thing that just hasn't worked? And it's okay if it hasn't worked, really, because I find that when things don't work or I failed at something, I look at that as more of a learning lesson than things that are very successful, even though I do learn from things that are, you know, that I have success with. I've also learned a ton from things that I failed at. So I'd love to hear from you guys, one successful and one failure with your green stalks this year. And one thing I do want to mention about mint is it is very invasive. I always share this on every video. So whenever you are growing your mint, either designate it for one whole tier or have just an individual pot, because these little sweet babies love to grow everywhere, which is wonderful. But if you put something else in another pocket, it's just going to take over. So I would just encourage you to either give it its own tier or just put these little beauties in a pot. So here's the rest of the perennial tower. I have yarrow on the second, which you can't really see because the stinging nettle is like, I'm the whole show right now. So that's okay. I love the stinging nettle. I probably would have put it somewhere else. You can see that. I probably would have put it somewhere else had I known, but I've never grown this. So it may be something that I switch out and change up during the fall time. And then at the very bottom is marshmallow. And I cannot get over how large or long this has gotten. Let's see, I know it's like right in the camera's face, but this is really long. So I probably should have put that at the very bottom. So I might rearrange some things, but I wanted to quickly show you. I could harvest the stinging nettle right here, but I'm not going to, just because I don't want to lose lighting. And the most important thing with this video right now is the onions and the garlic and potatoes. But I do want to show you what's growing in here, because I have really enjoyed, like I said, having this perennial tower. All right, now because it rained and I'm handling my camera, I am going to use a glove. I don't always use a glove to harvest, but for the sake of the fact that I have to touch the camera, I'm going to put it on one hand so that I don't get mud and water all over my camera. But now I do want to mention that these onions are the intermediate. So the other Greenstalk garden tour where I harvested the other onions were short day. Those had to get harvested quickly because now the days are longer, whereas intermediate, you can wait, you know, it can have longer days is my point. So I waited to harvest this, which has been perfect, you guys, because the short day I was able to harvest a few weeks prior, and then these a couple weeks later. So I was able to have time to harvest the short day onions, and now I can focus on harvesting those. And then what I did with the onions from the last Greenstalk garden tour is I chopped every single one of them up. I stuck them in gallon size Ziploc bags. I think some of the red onions I put in a sandwich bag, and then I froze them for future use. So that's what I ended up doing with it, which is probably what I'll do for this. Like, I'll have some for fresh eating, and then the rest I will put in the freezer. So let's go ahead and harvest. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this, how pretty this is. That is absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. This is exciting. I know I said at the last tour, I am beyond wowed at how much I can grow in these Greenstalks, which is why I'm dedicating at least once a month of a video to Greenstalks, because I just can't believe how much you can grow in 2 square feet. So anyways, let's go, because I can keep talking about Greenstalks all day, but let's go ahead and harvest the rest of these. Oh my goodness, this is a big one. Ooh, look at that beauty. Look at, so here's my hand. You can see it's like the entire palm of my hand. It's huge. I've never had the best success with red onions, and these by far have been the best. Now, just so you know, if you're new to my channel, I do grow onion starts myself, which if I have enough time, I'm going to show you some onion starts and shallots that I do have that I am going to be putting in these Greenstalks in the meantime, just to experiment over the summertime. But these starts that I put in the Greenstalks were from Dixondale Farms. I've bought from them before, and I've had really great success. And these this year have just blown my mind. I'm definitely going to be getting these again next year. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm just going to harvest the rest of these onions, and I will show you all of them at the end. All right, so before I show you that one bowl of onions, I wanted to point something out to you. So you see this little guy right here? It did not grow. But here's what I do, and I did this in my backyard garden as well, and now they're starting to grow, and even some of the grow bags back there on the retaining wall. If it still looks like a start, here's what I do. Now that this is harvested, and obviously this gets a little bit more sun. Now granted, onions do better in, or I should say they don't do the best in hot, like super hot heat. But what I'm trying to say is I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it into the soil on the top, because I'm not really doing much with these green stalks except for some of the onion and shallot starts that I had told you earlier that I will be putting in here to experiment over the summer. And that's what I'll do, because if it hasn't molded or gotten all, you know, it went bad, it looks like it could still grow, I'll stick it somewhere to see if it'll grow. And a lot of times I find that they do end up growing. So I just wanted to point that out. Don't ever throw them away, and maybe just stick them somewhere and see if they do grow. But let me show you real quick before we go over to this massive green stalk of onions. I want to show you real quick what we got. And I'll show you everything at the end too. But you guys, look at all of these onions. There's so many onions. I think every pocket except maybe one or two or just a handful didn't have any onions. This is a lot of onions that are gonna last our family for probably most of the year from 4 green stalks. So, and I think even 2 green stalks, even 1 green stalk would last us quite a long time. So I'm beyond excited. I'm always gonna grow onions and green stalks. You guys, look at these onions. This reservoir is popping up because this onion has gotten too large for this pocket in the green stalk. I don't even have words other than I am so excited that I can grow onions like this in a green stalk. And I got my tape measure. I'm gonna measure the circumference of this because this is the biggest onion I've ever grown, ever. So I'm thinking these two have to be the largest. Those are big too, but these two, I'm telling you, they are massively huge. So let's go ahead and harvest. I'm so excited. I am so excited. It's not even funny how excited I am to harvest this. So let's go ahead and harvest this. I'm gonna stand back because oh, spider. Sorry, buddy, you gotta go. Oh my word, you guys. Let me get a close up of this as I pull it out. This is massive. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I need some arm muscle here. Oh my word. Look at the beautiful roots. Oh my word, you guys, look at this. It is absolutely stunning. Okay, we gotta measure this, and I'm gonna measure this one. So let's go ahead and get the tape measure. Now, it probably would have worked better with like a cloth one, but this is what I have, so we're gonna work with this. Any guesses? Okay, think of a number, guess, and I'm gonna measure now. I'm trying to find the fattest part of it too. Ooh, this is hard. Okay, I wanna say it's like right in the middle. Oh my word. You guys, look at that. Almost 16 inches. That's over a foot, you guys, of circumference. That's crazy. And I'm trying to get, like, you can see, I'm trying to get the fattest part of it, like right in the middle there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta do the next one now. And then I'll just harvest the rest. All right, number 2, guys, let's go. Let's get this out. Okay, what do you think? The first one or the second one is bigger? Because I honestly don't know. They just look so big, both of them. Oh my gosh. Ooh, this one's a tough one. Wowzers. Oh my goodness, this one was harder to get out. I don't know which one's gonna be bigger. Look at this. Look at, it's like my whole entire hand. This is huge. All right, let's measure it real quick. Let's get the handy dandy tape measure here, guys. Okay, ready? Okay, just give me a workout here. Oh boy, I don't know which one's gonna be bigger. They're about the same. Actually, hold on, this one's not as big. A smidgen less. So this is about, let's see if I can get that in focus. It's about almost 16, right between 15 and 16. If you can see that right there. That's crazy, you guys. These are massively big. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to harvest the rest of these onions real quick. And then, like I said, at the end, I will show you everything that we harvested. Hopefully we have enough time for the potatoes. I may only have to do the onion and garlic and then do the potatoes in the garage and show you in the garage. I'm not sure yet because these dark clouds are not helping at all. So, I mean, these roots, you guys, they're like really tough in here. They don't want to get out. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And I planted these, by the way. Sorry, there was an gnat coming. I planted these March 8th. That's when I planted them. So, and we are at towards the end of June, like the very end of June. This one is big too, you guys. I don't know. This one might just be as big as the other ones. Oh my gosh. I've never had a hard time harvesting anything before. But these roots are like stuck in there. Wow. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. All right, there's the rest of the onion harvest. I will show you all of them at the end, but I did want to quickly share with you all of these little onion starts that I thought a long time ago. They're onions and shallots. I thought these were not going to make it, but all of a sudden I started seeing them grow. In fact, some of them are growing like little bulbs. I still plan to plant them in there just because I'm not really going to do anything with the green stalk that I pulled the onions out of anyways, just because I want to plant some more in there. But I'm going to experiment with these. I'll be planting these later this week and seeing if any of this grows throughout the summer. But I wanted to quickly show these to you because I do plan to put those in those green stalks. Now for the rest of the green stalks, I'm just going to walk through what it is that I planted, what's growing, what's doing really well, what I plan to do, because you can see there's pest damage. So we're just going to walk through and then I will go ahead and harvest the last little bit of garlic. So this is the green stalk. If you remember, it has just grown so lush. I do need to come in here and prune stuff. But if you remember, these are all determinate tomatoes and some peppers along with calendula and a few other flowers. And so far everything is growing very nice. You can see here's a pepper plant. It's kind of being overpowered by the tomato plants. But I do see a lot of flowers. You can see right there. So we'll be getting tomatoes and hopefully harvesting some the next garden tour. I mean, there's just flowers everywhere, and it's doing really good. The only thing with the tomatoes is you have to be really careful to keep them pruned because they are closer together. If you live in a really hot, humid place, you want to make sure that you're pruning so that you don't get disease. Now, one thing I did add, I wanted to show you are the trellises. So these are Greenstalk's newer trellises. You guys, I absolutely love these. You can see it's giving the tomato plant extra support. Now, if this were to get really tall, I would either clip it on here to give it more strength or maybe add a bamboo stick. Now, I'll give you an example of bamboo stick. So if you can see this one, I just clipped next to the tomato plant and it has helped a lot. But I really love these just because they blend in with the plants better. I know last year I put so many bamboo sticks everywhere, it looked kind of silly. So to have like a mix of a couple of bamboo sticks with the trellises has been really nice and it looks really pretty. Now this next Greenstalk, I have my spearmint on top, and then if you remember, this is where I had echinacea or coneflower, because you can see it is now growing. I had planted this last year. I had no idea that it comes back every year, so that's what you see growing out of here. Now, seeing how tall this gets, because this is really, really tall, I'm not sure if I will keep this in the Greenstalk and maybe take the plant out so that I can keep the plant and put it somewhere else. I have not made up my mind. But as far as the kale, if you remember, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it. Well, when I left and came back, there's just a lot of caterpillar damage, and you can see them right here. Oh yeah, there's my buddies. They love to eat. You see them right there? You see them? Yep, that's what they like to do. And they actually got my really big, beautiful kale plant in the backyard garden too. So I was able to maybe salvage that one, but these are not salvageable, which is fine. I think what I'm going to do is replant some kale just because these do really good in here. I just might do a different variety. For instance, this red Russian has been doing really good, but of course you can see it has Japanese beetle damage on there. But again, the Japanese beetles are not going to be here for super long. Like they have a, I think by July they're gone, if I remember, because this is my 3rd year dealing with them and I tend to forget when they leave and they're done. But I probably will start a few from seed just because, like I said, I feel like kale does really well in here. So that's what's going on with this Greenstalk. I mean, there's a few that are doing okay, but for the most part, I think I'm just going to start fresh. This next Greenstalk that has a red Russian kale on it, this is actually one of the garlic Greenstalks that we harvested last time. And I had stuck a few red Russian kales in the spots that the garlic didn't grow, because kale is actually a companion plant with garlic, so I figured it'd be safe to put that in there. But, and you can see actually this kale is doing really good down here. So I may not pull every single one of them on this one, but this one's, because this one's doing really good. But you guys, look at all the Tulsi holy basil. I did not plant any of these because they were in the Greenstalks last year. This is seed that fell. In fact, I have a snapdragon on the other one at the bottom that I'm not going to touch, but I'm just going to leave these in here until I have to plant garlic again, and that way I could just come out here and just pick some fresh Tulsi holy basil, or even cut some up and give some to the neighbors. So I love volunteer plants, and that's what has happened in this Greenstalk. Next to this one that was designated for garlic, and it still is the other one designated for garlic, and we had already harvested that. This one actually doesn't have, I don't think there's any, no, there's no volunteers, nothing going on with this. I still may just leave it as is for the garlic, and I may not put anything in there. I was gone for a week, so I haven't had much time to think about this one, so I'm just gonna leave this one as is. But these two are the ones that I want to harvest with you all. This is my last little bit of garlic. They are definitely ready to be harvested. But before I touch these two, because I am kind of losing lighting, I wanted to show you the last two at the end for the sweet potatoes, because these have been doing so good, minus the Japanese beetle damage. You can see some of the leaves have been eaten. I'm not overly concerned about it, but they have been eaten. So I wanted to show them to you because they're growing beautifully. Now, when I came home, there was a bunch of purple flowers that were all open. They're kind of closed, and I don't know the name of these. Hopefully you can see it. They are absolutely beautiful. and they were all open yesterday and they were just gorgeous. I'm a little sad that they're not open for my filming today because I think you would find them to be so beautiful. But I wanted to show these to you, and I'm very happy. Obviously, these won't be ready to harvest until come, I think, October, if I remember, or something. But I did want to show you an update. And then these, if you're new to my channel or new to Greenstalks, are one of their trellises that they carry, so that for ones that vine, you can just weave them in and out. So for instance, you can see one right here that's kind of like weaving in and out, and you just put it on there. I really enjoy having these, which is why I have them on both of the Greenstalks. Plus, like I always say, it just looks really pretty when you can vine them around. It's almost like its own art piece. All right, so let's go ahead now and harvest the last little bit of garlic before I lose the lighting. I have a feeling I'm going to have to harvest the potatoes and show you the harvest of those at the very end. But I know that these garlics are ready to be harvested. I still do have the other garlics in the garage, and we're going to be preserving them. I'm probably going to just peel them and just have them as cloves in the refrigerator or the freezer and take them out when I need it. So, but let's go ahead and harvest this garlic. I'm going to put it up close so you can see it. I love, just like the onions, I love having garlic in the Greenstalks. I love that it has its own tier. And one thing I want to point out before I forget, Greenstalk has, let me explain this to you because I don't want to forget, because I tend to do that. I'll think about it and I'll forget to say it, but because it was in my head, it's like I already said it to you, and sometimes, well, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I thought it in my head, but I didn't say it, so I'm going to say it now. But Greenstalk has their leaf Greenstalks, and then they have the original, if you can see that right there, they're deeper pockets. Those are 10 inches, these are 7 inches. That's the original Greenstalk, and that's the leaf Greenstalk. So I personally think that garlic does wonderful in the leaf. Now these are 6 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiers. 6 times 7 is 42. So 42 pockets, and then this one is 5, 6, that's 30 pockets. So I like to grow the onions in the deeper pockets, and then I love to grow the garlic in the shorter pockets. So I just want to add that real quick because sometimes that can make a difference. For instance, for me, I feel like with the garlic, I could plant something else better in the deeper pockets versus wasting it. So because they can grow in the smaller pockets, plus you can get more out of the leaf Greenstalk because there's more pockets. So I just wanted to share that real quick. Now let's go ahead. Let's get that garlic out. Oop, I feel like something was just on my head, and it's the leaves of the garlic. As much as I love gardening, bugs just are not like my best friends. They're just, ugh. Okay, look at that. Pretty good. Now let's see if I can do the, okay, yes I can. Look at that. Oh, so pretty, guys. Look at that beautiful white garlic. Now, they're not as big. I will say, I feel like this year my bulbs are not as big as I was hoping for, but that's okay. They're still usable. There's still so much garlic that I'm going to have some for quite a long time, because I actually harvested a lot more this year versus last year, and last year's garlic lasted me all the way up to almost the fall time, or for like the whole, almost for quite a while. So let's go ahead and harvest the rest. Okay, now I'm going to do this last one because I am losing lighting and I really want to harvest this garlic and the onion with you guys. Is it just me, or it seems like these roots just don't want to leave their home? This is kind of funny to me. Look at this. Do you see this? Excuse me, garlic. Excuse me. Look at this little guy. He said, I don't want to leave. Look at him. Watch. Look at this. I should have had my gloves on. Oh my word. Look at that. Oh my word, goodness gracious. Okay, look at, okay, I'm not gonna be able to touch my camera with this. Look at I had to tear some of the roots off. Look at this, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. It sure loves its green stalk. It didn't wanna leave. All right, let's get the rest, you guys, because I'm definitely losing lighting. So I will have to probably do the potatoes much later. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at, it was growing another garlic. Like it's having a baby or something. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see that. That's crazy. It's got a little garlic right here. I've never seen that before. That is so cool. Interesting. Oh, sometimes that happens, you guys, where, I don't know, this gets really like moist, and then, I don't know, maybe the roots are so strong. Oh yeah, I'm getting real messy here. I'm not gonna be able to touch the camera. That's okay. I can literally like pick up this entire pocket of soil. That is crazy. All right, friends, well, the garlic got really messy, which is why you see water splats, and there might even be some soil on my face. So if there is, I'm sorry, but there is just no time to do the potatoes. What I will do, I'm gonna show you everything we harvested real quick before it gets completely dark. But what I'll do is maybe like the next day, I'll just harvest all the potatoes and stick it at the end because they are ready for harvesting. And I don't want to have you miss what it is that I harvest for my green stalks, because I have been trying my hardest to grow a good amount of potatoes in the green stalks, and I'm hoping this time around I have the largest yield of potatoes than the previous. I think I've tried twice now, if I remember. This is my third attempt, and then I do have, you can probably see them back there, I have these square grow bags on a pallet. That looks very promising. I cannot wait to harvest that with you all on a separate video. But I want to show you the harvest of these potatoes, so I'll stick them at the end. Right now, I want to show you everything that we just harvested, because we just harvested a lot of food. So let me show you. Okay, hopefully my camera stays in focus. I'm like right at the part of my driveway where hopefully the lighting still catches my face. But let's start with some of the mint and a couple of the garlic bulbs that ripped apart, so they're just the little bulbs. Okay. So we have our Mojito Mint, we have spearmint, as well as peppermint, and then we have the lemon mint right here. Let me go to this side so that I can. Sorry, I'm out of breath, you guys. I'm like trying to get all this at the end of the video so you guys can see everything we harvested. Now, these trays are Bootstrap Farmer trays. I use this for starting seed, but I figured it'd be perfect to kind of separate everything on a tray and show you guys at the end. And then these are the little garlics that kind of like ripped at the stem because it was just too moist. So I keep those too. I don't throw those away. So those are the little ones that broke off. And then let me show you the garlic. You guys, I know it's kind of hard because there's a lot of soil on here. So it kind of just looks like dirt and roots. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. There's a lot of garlic in here though. I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see a lot of the bulbs. I'm really excited about this garlic. Now let's look at the onions. Okay, you guys, look at these. I am so happy. You have no idea. This is like, I'm out of breath just holding this because it's really heavy, but I want to try to show you the amount of onions. This was the first Greenstalk we just did. And I'm trying to turn them around because there's still more back there that you can't see, but this is a lot and they smell so good. So here's our first batch. Guys, I can't even pick up the whole second batch. This is the second batch. Oh my goodness. Look at these. That is so exciting. That is so exciting. I'm so glad I work out because this is heavy, man. Okay. These are the last two I couldn't hold. I'm like out of breath, you guys. They're heavy. They're like really, really heavy. But you guys, look at that. From a Greenstalk. From a Greenstalk. I just can't get over it. That's amazing. So overall, wonderful Greenstalk garden harvest. I'm really, really super excited. All right, friends, so I am now going to dump all the potatoes. Well, not all of them, I'll do one tier at a time so that you can see how much I actually grew in the Greenstalks. All right, you guys, look at that from just one tier. That's pretty good. I'm actually really excited to do the rest of them. Now, if all of them are like this, then absolutely hands down, I will be growing them in the Greenstalks from here on out because I've always had kind of a not the best yielded potatoes, and I'm starting to wonder if this time it did really good. So let's go ahead and get the rest of them. Look at that, is just from the second tier. That is actually more than the first tier. You guys, this is the most I've ever grown in my Greenstalk, and I've only hit the first two tiers. And even if this is all I got from two tiers and the rest was kind of to me, this is worth it. These are really good size potatoes too. Look at the size of these. Sorry, it's kind of hard because my hands are full of soil and I don't want to touch the camera, but I'm trying to convey how beautiful. Now at the very end, I will show you everything. I'm probably going to do a lot of fast forwarding of most of the digging of potatoes just because it's too time consuming. But I want to show you everything that I harvested from two Greenstalks. So you guys, so far I'm super impressed. Here's the very first Greenstalk, and you guys, this is the most I've ever harvested from the Greenstalk. Now, I do plan to weigh these at the end, and then we still have one more Greenstalk, but I just had to show you at least the first harvest from the first one, you know, all of it together, because me personally, I'm very impressed. And all I did this year, because I didn't have time to buy potato seed, I just bought store-bought potatoes and I let them sit in the dark in the house for a really long time, and I think that is what gave me a great harvest. So let's go ahead and get the last Greenstalk. So just so you know, the first batch of potatoes I did were all yellow potatoes from Whole Foods and Azure, and then this one is all red potatoes and one yellow potato from Whole Foods. And there's the second Greenstalk. These are all red potatoes and a couple of yellow potatoes. All these that I planted in the Greenstalks were all from the grocery stores, but what I did this time is I left them in my closet in the dark for a really long time, so they had a lot of those little eyes and sprout. I mean, there was a ton of sprouts. So I think that really helped this time, but you guys, I'm really impressed. Now I'm going to try and weigh all of these potatoes. So here's a better gauge probably. This is a 5-gallon bucket and it's almost full. So I pretty much grew almost 5 gallons of potatoes. I'll probably end up weighing this in the kitchen maybe, I'm not really sure, but I feel like this is a good enough gauge to show you that almost a 5-gallon bucket of potatoes from just 2 of these Greenstalks. And again, the only thing that I did differently here, you guys, I left them in my closet, which is actually my little garden office under the stairs. I left them in there for quite a long time. I want to say probably at least maybe 2 months. I'm going to actually document better next time because I feel like leaving them in there and allowing them to sprout a lot more made such a huge difference. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm probably also going to try for a fall, planting for the fall, sorry. It is super hot out here. Like it's so muggy, it's not even funny, so I'm kind of out of breath. But I'm probably gonna do a fall planting too, just because of how impressed I am. But I wanted to show this to you and let you know how much we harvested from just 2 Greenstalks. Now it's time to clean up. Now I will make a side note, and you'll see it on the next Greenstalk garden tour. I will put straw over all of these tiers of the Greenstalk to protect the soil, so if it rains really hard, it's not coming out or hitting it too hard where it splashes against the Greenstalk. So that's what I will be doing, and I will not get rid of this soil, you guys. I do not throw my soil away unless it was completely infested, which I have not had that issue in any of my soil with my beds, bags, buckets, or my Greenstalks. I keep and I reuse my soil because this stuff ain't cheap. So with that being said, I just wanted to tell you that that is what I plan to do to keep this protected and the soil moist and not get hard over the summer, so that these will be ready for the next potato planting. Well, friends, I'm definitely losing lighting here and my face is not going to stay in focus, but I could not end without at least letting you know that with Greenstalks, I do have an affiliate code below if you are interested in getting a Greenstalk. It's an extra $10 off, $75 or more. If you choose to use it, great. If not, it's okay. I just want to let you know that it's there if you want to. I personally love these. Every one of these Greenstalks that you see behind me, I bought with my own money. It was not given to me. It was all bought with my money, and I would not take away anything from buying these. They have been wonderful. They have been just so fun to have. The fact that I can grow that much food in a driveway is just, it still blows my mind. So I love Greenstalks, and I'm glad I'm able to share this with you all, because I think for me, the idea of growing so much food in such a small space, it still is just one of those things that helps anybody with any space out. Now, I do understand that there are some spaces where it's really hard to even have something like that, but if it's feasible, these are wonderful to have. You literally can grow 30 to 42 plants in 2 feet of space, which I think is just wonderful. And it's successful because I'm having success with these Greenstalks, as you can see, which is why I share it with you all, because I know that, you know, gardening is not always easy, and it does take effort, it does take work, but it is absolutely worth it. Whether you grow in a Greenstalk or a bucket or a grow bag or a raised bed or in the ground, gardening is so worth the time and effort, because for me at least, being able to come out here and harvest something to feed my family has been worth every sweat, minute, frustrations and joys that I've ever given into my garden. So I say that with encouragement, and just to say that if I can do it, you can do it too. So friends, I so appreciate you stopping by all the time. I absolutely love to share my Greenstalks with you, my backyard garden with you, because I love to share the ups and downs, the failures, as well as the successes, because no matter what, gardening is not for the faint. It does take time and it does take effort, and I just want to keep encouraging you guys by sharing with you all and letting you know how much I appreciate every single one of you. I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and I want you to always remember this, friends. Be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. You got this, friends. Don't give up. You got this. But I really do appreciate you all, and